vlog is a book, nook and baking vlog. So I'm setting up a little book nook in one of the bedrooms. I've got a like a ladder shelf which I'm going to paint and upcycle, and then I'm going to add all my books to it, talk you through some new books and give you some recommendations on some books that I've read. In the middle of that is going to be some bacon. We're going to be baking some cheese straws. So if you want the recipe, it will be in this vlog. And then at the end, it will be the book nook reveal and talking about the new books that I've got. And then a little sit down, cup of coffee, reading my book and eating my cheese straws. So the paint that I've bought for this particular project is the Rust-Oleum washable matte furniture paint. I've used this before when I was upcycling a doll's house, and it's really, really good because you don't have to prepare the surfaces beforehand. You don't have to sand them or prime them or anything like that. The paint kind of is mixed in with like the primer, and you don't have to sand it. It goes on really well. For this book nook ladder shelf, I did 3 coats of this paint, but you'll see going through how it applies. So all I did was just clean the shelves beforehand. So I dusted them and then cleaned them with a damp cloth. Just got the paint ready, opened the paint pot, gave it a good stir, and then we was ready to go really. So here's the ladder shelf, and this is 1 coat of paint. As you can see, it's still quite patchy. There are some areas that I haven't actually painted yet, so I'm just pointing these out to the back bits. Because I'm painting this while it's standing up, it was a little bit difficult to paint the bits at the back that were near the wall without getting the paint on the wall. It obviously wasn't the most ideal setup, but there wasn't much room in the bedroom to have it laying down, and I'd lost my dust and paint sheets, so I had to use a M&S food bag just for the bottom. But I will get a dust sheet and get those bits done properly, ready for the second coat. And this is the ladder shelf painted. These are the 3 coats, so as you can see it looks a lot better. And I managed to do the bits that were missing that because they were standing against the wall I couldn't do. So I'm going to be making some cheese straws today. So for that I'm going to be using short crust pastry mix. I used to make it by hand, the pastry, but I found this was a lot easier and actually tastes much better. So you're going to need some short crust pastry mix. I've got one here that I've used a little bit of, so I'm going to use this up. Some cheese, grated. Again, I would usually buy a lump of cheese and grate it myself, but I was feeling lazy. And obviously you can also use mature cheese or mild cheese, and I just prefer the medium. Some flour just to roll out the pastry and for dusting, and some cold water. And I've got a bowl here and a tablespoon. So I've poured out about half of the leftover that I had. There's about a quarter left because I already used a quarter. So I've got half in here. And then I'm going to add some cheese. Now I've added probably half this bag because I'd used about, again, I used about a quarter and I've got a quarter left. So this is 250 grams, so I used 125 grams. And this was 450 grams and I used 225 grams of that. Now I've just washed my hands, so I'm going to go in and mix the cheese into the pastry mix. I'm just seeing if I need any more cheese. No, I think that's fine. Right, I'm going to wash my hands again. So we're now going to add the water to the mixture so it combines together. Now I'm doing this by tablespoon just because on the back of the packet it said 8 to 9 tablespoons for the whole packet. But we're doing half. So we're going to do 5.5 and see how that goes. We're going to need more than that. So this is where you can just add it as you go now, because it's done by the texture that you can feel. Together. I'm going to get my hands in now. Crumbly, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Oops. You've got to make it a little bit wetter because when you roll it out on the flour it goes a bit dry again, so it needs to be a little bit wetter than what you want. It's coming together. Get the bits at the bottom. That should be enough. Alright, that's good to go. So we're now going to add our flour to the top, worktop. I've disinfected the worktop. Plenty on there. That's it. Grab our mixture. Put some flour on it to start it off. I forgot to get the rolling pin out, so I've got it now. So we're just going to roll it out here. The edges do come go a little bit crumbly, but that's good because then they go nice and crispy in the oven. And that's where the cheese melts out from. So now you kind of just decide how thick or thin you want them. I would probably go about a bit thinner than this, but not too thin because they go quite crunchy. You want them to be a little bit soft in the middle, so you get that nice soft cheese, but then be crunchy on the outside. Flip it over one more time. Go out this way. So how thick is that? That's about 1/2 centimetre. So 5mm. I don't know how much that is in inches, 1/4 of an inch. Probably less than that. Right. I'm happy with that. Let's put the lid on the floor. Oops. Now you're just going to cut them out. I like them in kind of like soldiers. Again, you can be neat if you want to and cut the edges off and then roll that out again and make more. But I don't mind them rustic, so I'm just going to cut down here. And I'm going to cut that in half. And then that's going to go on the baking tray. Same again. You can see here how thick they are, or thin if you prefer them thicker. You can make them into balls. I've done that before. That's quite nice because they're a little bit more softer in the middle. 2 out of this one. I don't know if I'm going to fit them all on my tray. Get the other one out. 3. Not going to fit them all on. I'm going to make this bit into a ball, this odd random bit. And then I'll put those 2 on another tray. So here we go, I've actually managed to put it on the bigger tray and they all fit on there. So I've got some different shapes and sizes there. Whoops, nearly lost the ball. So I'm just going to put these in the oven now and cook them. You can obviously wash them with egg or milk to make them a bit more golden brown or a little bit more crispy, but I like them just as they are, natural. The cheese straws are just in the oven at the moment. I'm just baking them at between 150 and 200 degrees. And they've been in there maybe 15 minutes. I put them on 150 to begin with and then slowly put them up to 200. And here they are, out of the oven, looking all nice and warm and soft yet crispy on the outside with the cheese melted. They look very rustic, but lovely. They're lovely to eat when they're warm. And then I'm just putting them here in my cake stand. They'll keep in here for a few days, and then I won't eat them all within a few days. I'll transfer them to a airtight container. But yeah, these will probably last me maybe a week or more. But yeah, they're nice just to have with a cup of coffee. Sometimes you could have one alongside your porridge in the morning. They're just really nice. They're nice to have in the winter. They're sort of like a comfy eating thing. To the book nook. So I'm going to start putting my books on here. I don't have that many books at the moment because I was going to get a Billy bookcase from IKEA, quite a large one, because I wanted to have like a bit of a library in the future. But I had this ladder shelf already and I thought I'd use this and just upcycle it while I haven't got many books, and I didn't want to feel the pressure of having to buy books all the time just to fill the space. So on this bottom shelf I'm just putting some children's books at the moment. I've got obviously Harry Potter books, which are like the best classic ever. So I've put those down there for the moment, and I've also got some Shakespeare as well. They're specifically written for children. I got these, I think, when I was at school. But they're a really good way to read Shakespeare. Obviously it's a lot easier to read than the proper books. But yeah, so I would recommend those actually. They're from Costco. You can get those. And then on this second shelf up, are just all the odd books that I've got, that I've only, that they're not in like a series or a duo or anything like that. They're just some odd authors and books that I've read. I'll talk you through which ones are good and which ones are not great in a minute. Third shelf up, we have got all of the Taylor Jenkins Reid books that I've got. I think I've got the whole series. I need to just double check that. But again, I'll go through these and let you know which ones are good. And I've also got these Stephanie Garber books. These are a series of 3. And again, I'll talk to you about these a little bit later. And then going on to the fourth shelf up or second shelf down now. I've got my TBR shelf. So TBR is to be read. So these are books that I've got that I haven't read yet. So these will be on this shelf. I've got 2 here at the moment, but they're part of like a series of books which apparently you have to read in order. I've also got one of the Stephanie Garber books still left to read. And then I've also just put the new books that I got this week on there, because obviously I haven't read them, so they're on the TBR shelf as well. I decided to swap these around because I always seem to be putting all of their books upright on the left-hand side and then laying them down on the right-hand side. So I decided to swap it around and do the opposite on this one, just so that the look and aesthetic of the bookshelf was a little bit different. And I've just put a wooden mushroom on here and a little vase, really just to keep the books upright for no other reason than that. And then I have the top shelf spare at the moment, so I'll probably just put an ornament on there at a later date. And then this is a little book nook, as I say, is just in one of the bedrooms at the moment. I've got this nice old antique chair, which I've just put there, just when I'm reading or when I'm looking at my books or thinking about what book next to read on my TBR. This is what it's going to be. So these are the new books that I got, these 4 end ones that I got the other day. This is the fantasy book that I've got, the Dalagat Dream Department Store. I have read this, but I'm waiting for the other one in the series to come. These are the Stephanie Garber books. I would highly recommend these. They are like a fantasy book. The last one I've got to read, which is A Curse for True Love. I would say the best one so far was the middle one, The Ballad of Never After. But yeah, they are really... I mean, I've never read a fantasy book before I read these, apart from when I was a teenager, and these are like amazing. They're like a level up from what we used to read. Then we have the Taylor Jenkins Smith books. So the best ones here are The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Malibu Rising, Carrie Soto is Back, and Daisy Jones and the Six. The other ones there are more heavier on the romance, whereas those 4 that I said that were really good were more like a general fiction book. But yeah, I would highly recommend. I've given these all 5 stars. I think they deserve more than 5 stars. The 3 more romantic ones are a little bit slower, but yeah, I would highly recommend those. And then these are the ones, all these odd ones, apart from the Authenticity Project, so this one here, and The People on Platform 5, who are by Claire Pooley. So they are by the same author. They're both really good and I would recommend them. And then Mrs. Planks's Revenge is really good. These 2 here are not that great. I mean, they're great as a filler book. And then this one, Old Flames and New Fortunes, was good. And then Book Lovers and The Paradise Problem are a typical romance, but good. That follows on with The Happy Place that I've got up here in the TBR. So that's part of the same series as Book Lovers by Emily Henry. There are obviously more by Emily Henry. And then this one here, The Potting Shed Murder. This hardback by Paula Sutton is another really good one. This is more of a crime mystery. It was really good, but you kind of knew who it was throughout it, but at the end it did have quite a twist to it and things that you didn't quite expect. So again, I would give that 5 stars. And then of course I've got Harry Potter at the bottom and the Shakespeare ones that I said about earlier. So I've got a little bit of room here on the bottom shelf still, and I could always put another row in front if I got some more books that I'm reading at the moment. So I've still got quite a little bit of room on the shelves. I can put books up in some spaces. As I said, put another row here. But yeah, so that is the book nook. Around it needs a bit of a tidy, but we'll do that another day. So here it is. This is my book nook. So you've got plenty of room on my TBR shelf. So these were the 4 books that I bought this week in the works. So I got Jenny Colgan, The Summer Skies. I got The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. I got The Beginnings at Wildflower Lock by Hannah Lynn. And I got The Queen of Poisons by Robert Thorogood. So these are the books that I bought in the works when I went to Sheffield the other day. I have been buying quite a lot of books recently, and mainly from Waterstones, and they're quite expensive there. I have bought a few on my Kindle as well. But I thought, being as it's like was January to now February, just to save a little bit of money, I went to the works and got a few. Now, none of these were on the website, or were the ones I was after. The ones I was after were sort of newer, really. But I thought I would go for these. So this first one, I have read a lot of Jenny Colgan books before, quite a few years ago. So I thought I'd pick this one up. I like reading summer books, like ones based in the summer or abroad in our winter, because it just gives me an escape from the winter here. I know lots of people prefer to do it, like read wintry books or autumny books in the seasons that they're in, but I don't. I like to do the opposite. So I got this one, so I'm hoping that this is going to be good. All of her other books have been really good, so I'm sure this will be the same. So I got that one. I also got this one just because I thought it looked quite good. Obviously it has a painter on the front. I think this is more of just one of those books that you can get in like a garden centre or somewhere. So I don't know if it's going to be that great, but it's worth a read anyway. It's not too thick, so sometimes you need like a filler book just to sort of like decompress from another book or something. So I got that one. Then I got this one, which I had seen on the website a few times over Christmas, and it did sound quite good. It's a little bit thicker, this one, this book. And being as it was in the 3 for 6, it was kind of the only other book there that I was interested in, so I got this one. And it is by the author of The Flat Share, which was a bestseller, so hopefully that'll be. So I got these 3 for £6 in the 3 for 6 deal, or they are £2.50 each. And then just as a difference, I got a murder mystery, The Queen of Poisons. So it's by Robert Thorogood. I've never read any of his books before, but it is a Sunday Times bestseller, and it did sound quite good on the back. So I'm hoping that this will be a good one. As I say, I do like crime, murder mysteries. Obviously, I like chick lit. I like fiction. I'm not particularly into autobiographies, but yeah. So I've got these ones. So these are going to be on my TBR. I don't know if I'm going to get through them all in the next few months. I might leave this one for a while. I might go for this one next. Yeah, I've just finished a crime, so I won't be reading that one quite yet. And I do have 2 others on my, well, 3 on my TBR. 2 are part of a series, and I'm supposed to get the other books first before I read them, so they'll be on there for a while. And the other one I'm saving till the weather is a little bit lighter. So I'll probably read this one next, I think, and then maybe that one. But yeah, I just wanted to share those books that I got with you from the works. So yeah, if you're finding Waterstones or bookshops quite expensive, go to the works and you can get some. There are usually better books than these in there. But yeah, I think it was just the time of year and maybe the day I went, there wasn't that many there to choose from. But yeah, definitely worth a go. So thank you for watching my vlog. If you like it, please give a thumbs up. If you want to be notified of the next upload, click that bell. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing, I know there's quite a lot of you that watch it but don't subscribe. I think it's over 50%, so if you would subscribe, that would really help my channel out. And I hope this vlog has given you a reason to put your feet up, have a coffee, eat some cheese straws and read a really good book. Anyway, have a good day and hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now. Take care.